Welcome to my video. These are my thoughts on Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3, Episode 10, The Mettle of Man. So, another episode I love. Spoilers for everything Evil Dead leading up to and including this episode. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be? Let's dive right in. So, yes, right. Before I do, I just wanted to briefly say, now that I've watched the entire show, I will do a spoiler-free review. I'm going to see, once I've recorded this entire video, I'm going to see if my back can handle doing it today. Otherwise, I expect it'll be sometime tomorrow. And yeah, before I get into the details of the episode in particular, I'm going to briefly talk about, so if I understand correctly, they are working on an animated follow-up to this show, which will, pick up exactly where this left off. Which, I guess at this point, yeah, I've come to terms with the fact that we might never, in a live-action production, see the future where, the dystopian future of Ash fighting Evil Dead, and there's also robots there, because this was also supposed to be Evil Dead 4. If Army of Darkness had performed better, and the original ending hadn't been, right, yeah, if you haven't watched, because the theatrical cut is different, but the ending that they originally wanted, yeah, I already mentioned I'm spoiling the Evil Dead movies. At the end of Army of Darkness, I think it's now called the Apocalypse ending, which was what was supposed to happen. Basically, when Ash, he gets the little thing that's he's supposed to, he's supposed to take like 6 drops to wake up, because each represents a century of being under. Then he'll come to in his own time, in our time. But he gets distracted by a noise and loses count, so he accidentally takes 7 instead. And then when he wakes up, we see this, it's very, like, fuck, I guess that would be spoiling that, okay. It's a definite, there's a very clear visual reference to another post-apocalyptic, yeah. And yeah, he stands in front of these, there's this great matte shot where we see these just destroyed, famous buildings. And, Ash, like, if I recall, he, like, falls to his knees, and he's like, oh no, I slept too long. And it's wonderful. It's one of the best moments of Evil Dead anything ever. But apparently, like, some studio fucking asshole didn't like it. So, we didn't get that, unfortunately. And, yeah, because the movie itself underperformed, we ended up not getting the movie that was. But, hopefully we are actually getting it in animated form, because it's such a cool idea. I really appreciate Sam Raimi's dedication to trying to reinvent this, The very end of Evil Dead 2 tells us that the third movie is going to be set in medieval times, and then, we actually get a movie set in medieval times, and the original ending to that was going to lead into a future thing. I really, until it happens, and, I guess forever, if it never happens, I'm really going to miss the supporting cast of this. Campbell himself is slated to return, thankfully, which also, he's like, I can't do this more in live action, it's a too physically demanding role. Like, it was one thing back in, like, the 80s and 90s, but all these years later, yeah, you can understand. But I could see how they could have the actors return, even if, like, I'm not sure we'd see the exact same characters. I guess if the Knights of Samaria also went and put them under, but other than that, I could see how Brandy could get together with some guy and, generation, yeah, the line continues, and, yeah, because Lex, Ash says at the end of this episode, it's all gone, and Lex says, not everything. And, then she unveils the car, which, I mean, you could take it to mean, no, we saved your car, don't worry. But I'm pretty sure that's at least also supposed to mean, there is still some left of, And yeah, she's gonna tell him where, they're gonna drive. She's gonna tell him where to go. And yeah, once they get there, they might meet up with a bunch of characters that, and yeah, we could meet, Brandy's great granddaughter, maybe also grandson, and if either, yeah, if Kelly and Pablo hook up together or with others, we could have later, we could have descendants of them, and the actors could reprise their roles, and they could have just slightly different dynamics, because it could be this thing of, great-grandma kept passing down the information, so since I was old enough to walk, I've been told about the great savior. There could be some tension there. And yeah, I hope they go further with the robot thing, because I thought it was really cool, this thing, and yeah, Bruce got his hand back, which on the commentary track he thanks, because the Rick Jacobson, the writer director of the episode, is on the commentary track, and he's like, thank you for giving me my hand back, and at the time they thought they might get a 4th season of this show. But yeah, you see the wrist, there's this see-through thing, and that's also on, she's identified as Lex in the, yeah, not in the episode itself, but I think in the commentary track and on the IMDb credits, and the episode credits, if you compare, but yeah, she has I think it's her stomach has that, going, and maybe some other part, yeah, but that's really cool. I would like to see them go full, I want to say, are they called the Reavers of X-Men? The anti-mutant cyborg, just full on, just really embrace, because you can do a lot of cool shit with robots, But yeah, going into the episode itself, yeah, I thought they did a really great job with the emotional through line. At the start, Ash is basically resigned. He's like, I can't do this. This is not, And I really appreciate that it's his daughter. It's a young woman who talks a man into doing the right thing. I really appreciate when media encourages healthy relationships between men and women. And yeah, no matter how strong you are, at some point you're going to need someone who supports you and can talk you into, yeah. Let's see, and yeah, I thought the emotional goodbye was really great. And we have let's see. Yeah, Dana DeLorenzo spends a chunk of this episode just being carried around, which, Bruce Campbell points out on the commentary track. You might think, oh, that's an easy day. No, you have to stay in one, you have to, yeah, remain in one position. You can't visibly breathe and move and all this stuff, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I appreciate they fit in a little bit more badassness, yeah, the various characters get a brief send-off, Kelly gets to shoot some deadites, even though, she's not, yeah, there's fairly little screen time for her to do that, but they still manage to get that in there. Brandy, stabs, let's see, yeah, both at the start of the episode when Ash says she's never been prouder, and also near, yeah, in the tunnel, she also stabs a guy, deadite guy. And let's see, yeah, and Pablo helps with the prophecy. I like that the giant demon is called Kandar, so it is the origin of all the Kandarian evil, Kandarian demons. Yeah, I didn't know that this show was going to end with a fucking kaiju fight versus a Lovecraftian, but this fucking thing, you know, it's not quite like Cthulhu, but it does feel like one of the, I want to say they're called the old ones, you know. Yeah, that was amazing. And it's got the, like, the face is very distinctly like an Evil Dead monster kind of. Yeah. And yeah, this idea of, no, you know, the more you shoot at it, the bigger it grows, which, you know, yeah, I quite appreciate that explanation for why, you know, I wasn't surprised that it wasn't the military who got to destroy it. It often isn't in these stories. I think that might be right. Yes, when they managed to bring back Kelly, you know, right, that was another really huge moment for Pablo. You know, for the send off for the season. He went through the rift and brought Kelly's soul back just like that. Like, that's holy shit. Nobody has been able to do that. You know, we and they set that up. They set up that that's not gonna work for just anyone. You know, a Knight of Samaria went through. He got possessed. You know, they're trained to deal with shit like this, and he still got possessed. Right, that was also, I really appreciate, you know, we're told, oh, the Knights of Samaria have been around for a really long time. Makes sense that they would still be there when the world has gone to shit, you know. Which, I guess, is next year if Trump wins. But yeah, let's see, what was the, right, and yeah, the idea that they like, put him under and wake him up when, you know, what did she say, the dark ones are on the move, or something like that, you know, so when he is needed again. Let's see, I think that might, right, I like the deputy at the start being like, come on, Ash, you coward, and then he runs out. He's here. I've seen other scenes in a horror stuff where someone will think that they can, like, negotiate with some evil motherfucker, but this might be the funniest I've seen, you know. Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back. Yeah. Let's see. I feel like there's at least one more thing that I really want. Right, yeah. And when they, you know, bring Kelly back, you know, love the clear consent for the kiss. Like, Pablo makes, you know, like, communicates non-verbally, clearly, you know, he would like to kiss now. She's the one who closes in for the kiss, you know. He doesn't just kiss her without, you know. Let's see, and yeah, the thing of, like, you know, she sees her face, fuck, I look like Keith Richards, and then, you know, Brandy is like, I was thinking Iggy Pop, and Ash like, filthy and not fine, and then they high five. And Pablo's like, yeah, there's two of them now. And on the commentary track, you know, Bruce, let's see, I think is, I think it's, let's see if I can get her name right, Ariel Carver-O'Neill, who plays Brandy. She asks, you know, is it good that they have the same sense of humor? And, you know, Bruce is like, I think it's appropriate. I don't know if it's good. And right, yes, I love the fact that it's global, you know, and that's also part of why Ash is like, okay, I cannot do this. I can't be responsible for saving the entire world. And I think, yeah, what was the other thing? There was definitely at least one other. Right, the bit in the tunnel really gave me, like, on the commentary track, they say it reminded me of, like, The Walking Dead. It really made me think of, like, yeah, I haven't started watching that yet. I do own it, but yes, fuck. It really reminded me of Left 4 Dead, you know. yeah, I love the bit when there's blood dripping down, they look up and there's deadites above them. That was great. The tank was awesome, and I love that, as usual, Ash fucks it up. Like, come take this, and then he can't actually fire it. And I do appreciate, because yeah, I've never tried it myself, but I don't want to brag, I have played Red Orchestra, so I am a little bit of an expert on this. Tanks are actually not super easy to drive. Like, you do need to know what you're doing. It's not like getting behind the wheel of a car and just like, there's cars, like, other than some of the new ones where you need to know like some of the computer components and such. But other than that, if you get behind the wheel, if you know how to drive one car, you know how to drive a lot of cars. Like, there's some that are more complicated, but yeah. But a tank, like, there's a reason why they don't just pick you up off the street and put you in a tank. There's a course you have to go through before, which, once again, I know this because I did play Red Orchestra. But yeah, I thought it makes a lot of sense that it is the dagger, the ceremonial dagger, that is required to take out Kandar. And let's see, I think, yeah. So some IMDb trivia. Yeah, one of the 55 seconds into the episode, Demon Deadite was trying to break through the door. It says "Dead by Dawn," which, yeah, reference to Evil Dead 2. And let's see. Right, so yeah, what Pablo says to Kelly translates to "Rest in peace, my love." Yeah. And yeah, someone else also brought up this thing about how originally this was supposed to, yeah, the end of Army of Darkness. Yeah. I feel like I feel like there's at least one more. Oh, right. A couple of things about Kelly. Yeah. When she comes to and she's like telling Ash, how she died, she says, "I can't do it. I'm not you." I don't love scenes of women telling men that the man is better in some way. I think the idea is supposed to be that she's acknowledging that you have to be the prophesied one to go toe-to-toe with Ruby on your own. And they do give her the badass moment not long after of her shooting Deadites, although that's immediately followed by Ash being like the man who has to calm down the woman so she can get out of their entire... Yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag there. Yeah, I really appreciated the personalized goodbyes to the various... let's see... And the... Right, yeah. Kelly also got to shoot the Deadite military member who was, shooting all the other military members. One thing, I'm not 100% certain if is the world dystopian because they did end up firing the nuke. Or I guess it's possible. That's also, I guess Kandar being destroyed doesn't necessarily solve the problems all over the rest of the world. It's just like the worst. Like, it got it to from like boiling over to a simmer, and then it took a while before they woke up Ash again for the... Yeah, I'm thinking it would have been explained in Season 4, and it will be explained in the animated show. I haven't played Evil Dead the game yet. I think I said in an earlier video that I don't have access to it. I don't know how I missed this. I do have a copy. I got one for free on Epic. So I will start playing that at some point. It'll depend on... right now my wrists are not loving multiplayer and co-op, which I understand is a pretty significant part of that game. I'm looking forward to playing it. I do think, I have seen that they do have Pablo and Kelly, in addition to obviously Ash as playable characters, and I believe they also have the King and the love interest from Army of Darkness. But yeah, I do think I hope that they have at least some post-apocalyptic stuff, because the game came out after this episode did, so they knew that, like some people would have watched the show and play the game to get to play as their characters from the show, and it stands to reason that there would also be, so I do hope for that. I don't know if the gameplay would make sense for you to get to drive the tank, but that would also be a cool, it could be like a temporary thing, like how, you can only use the chainsaw for so long in Left 4 Dead 2, but yeah. Yeah, I'm really gonna miss the show. I really look forward to the animated one. I'm really glad that when Ash was talking to Kelly and saying, goodbye, that he does end up saying, you are the leader. It's you that, and he tells Pablo, you are Jefe now. But yeah, before telling Kelly, you are the leader, when he's like saying, people are going to need a leader. They're going to need someone strong, someone they can look up to and trust. I'm really glad that they did go for the sincere, closing to that monologue. The part of me that's more sarcastic and loves Blackadder, I wouldn't have minded like an outtake or a deleted scene where instead of saying, that's you, he said, can you think of anyone?